All right, have and have not fans. This you can call probably a part one because that's like it's almost 3 a.m. in Virginia right now. I just wanted to let you know that I apologize for not making the 8 p.m. live stream like I said I was. I actually took some medicine because I am fighting off a cold, and taking NyQuil around 6:30 is probably not the best idea because I closed my eyes around 6:45. Next thing you know, I woke up and it is 2:30 a.m. and I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's no way I can do a live stream. But I woke up, I'm feeling slightly better, and yeah, okay. Tuning in from Tokyo, how are you doing today? I know it's a different time zone, so it's probably daytime over there while it's literally the middle of the night here. And we're going to see if we can get at least 10 to 15 people here watching. Right now it's only two, because the big question is, do you think that Hanna loves Candace? And I see Brimoni Vlog says that I think Hanna loves Candace. I have to agree. Now I want to say that I'm doing this alone right now, but if there's anybody watching who wants to go to Google Hangouts and actually join in the conversation with me, feel free to leave your email address in the comment section of the chat here. And again, we're focusing on the Hanna and Candace relationship. Does she actually love her daughter? It's almost 5 p.m. here in Tokyo. Yeah, it's the 29th of December here in Virginia as well. Okay, guys, it looks like we're almost up to 20 people. Again, is there anybody that wants to join in on the conversation? If there's anybody that wants to join in, just let me know by chatting me your email address, because what I'll do is I'll go to Google Hangout and then I'll see if I can add you in the conversation so we can have a live discussion. Oh, you live in Alabama? Okay, so we have Alabama and Tokyo in the house right now. And just to kind of give you some insight, I don't think that Hanna doesn't love Candace. I think there's been plenty of examples within the show itself where Hanna actually expresses her love for Candace. It's Candace who has a problem expressing herself, aside from envy, greed, and hatred towards somebody else. That's what I think. But again, I'm really trying to see if there's anybody who wants to join in the discussion with me. Oh, we got another Alabama in the house. Great, great. Yeah, because I'm on Google Hangouts right now. Everybody else that I usually chat with is asleep right now, and I can't blame them. So I'm looking at the chats now. Is there anybody that has any thoughts on this subject? Well, let me just put it this way. I mean, given the fact that Hanna does indeed love her daughter, I think she's even said it a couple of times where, I love you, Candace. I just don't like the things you do and the way you act. But I don't think we've ever seen Candace show any kind of emotion towards her mother whatsoever. Anything that's positive. Usually it's just her lashing out at her mom, disrespecting her, talking down to her, and of course bringing up the way she was raised. I think that's another important factor. Okay, it looks like the numbers keep going up and down, but again, I'm just waiting on any chats. Does anybody want to chime in on this subject here? Oh, yep, I definitely agree. Hanna does love Candace, but hates the lifestyle she lives. I feel like, the death of Quincy Jr. was definitely the breaking point for both of them, where Candace has this irrational view that Hanna let her son die on purpose just to get back at her. And then, of course, Hanna in the funeral home scene just had a great way of breaking it down, saying that, you know what, Candace, this is all your fault. You're the one who does all these things, cheating people, conning people, blackmailing people. And then when something goes wrong in your life, you don't want to point the finger at yourself when technically you really are the person to blame. Okay. Anybody else want to chime in on this? Yes, Hannah was definitely like Candace when she was younger, in terms of sleeping around with different men. But I don't think that Hannah is to the extreme that Candace was in terms of the level of people she's conning, the murder. The Hannah wasn't a Christian in her younger life. Yes, she was like Candace, but I think Candace is far more worse than Hannah was at that age. I mean, we really need to know more about Hannah's past to confirm that, but based off what we've seen from Candace, I don't think Hannah was at the same level that Candace is, because I don't think she would have had that much money, like, dealing with people to extort millions of dollars. I think she was more of a, well, for a lack of a better phrase, a hoe than an actual prostitute and whatnot like Candace is. Yeah, Jacoby, one thing I did agree with was when Catherine was telling Hannah, like, look, I can get some legal help. We can try to get custody of the funeral arrangements. But Hannah said it best when she was like, you know what? That's her child. She's going to do what she wants. And this is just a shell. He's with the Lord right now. That was a great scene. Okay, we have another comment. She sees so much potential in Candace and is hoping to see what she couldn't do with her youth. Hannah's past was wasted. That is absolutely correct. Candace does have potential. Hannah pointed it out after Candace jumped into the courtroom to save Benny from being taken off of life support by Tony. And I absolutely agree. She's wasting her potential on all these schemes and whatnot. If she focused on school, if she became a lawyer, she could definitely change the game. Okay, let's see. Indiana says Hannah loves Candace, which I agree. The only nice thing Candace has ever done for Hannah was the car. Yes. Before little Q came back, Candace had a little feeling for her. Now who knows? Yeah, I agree. Like I said earlier, Quincy Jr. was the deciding factor, because it divided those two even more in terms of who's going to get custody and who's to blame for him being killed. Okay, what if Hannah doesn't know who Candace's father is? That is definitely possible, but I hope that's not the case. I definitely hope that he shows up at some point in the future, because I feel like that would be a great way of giving Candace more depth. I mean, if anything, do you think that if Candace's father showed up, it would happen like right when she's about to push the button, so to speak, where she has the trigger on all the people she wants to get revenge for, but then her father comes back into her life? In season 1, Hannah said Candace like her father. Yes, I do believe that's true. That was said. So I would definitely like to see Candace's father, to see if he changed his ways just like Hannah changed hers. I think Candace has some questions for Hannah regarding her father and past situations. Yes, remember back in like season 2, Hannah kept badgering Candace about where's my grandson, where's your son? And then every time she would say that, Candace would say, who's my father? Do you know where he is? So I definitely don't think that her father would be teased that much unless he would come up at some point during the series. Okay, good. Yeah, keep the questions coming, guys. Okay. I think about it, it's really sad to hear a child was shot in a cheap motel bathroom. I definitely agree, because he had nothing to do with the situation. It was just sad that his life was taken based on the action of his mother. That was just ridiculous. But sadly, Quincy Jr. was just a plot device when you think about it, in terms to make the story go on, because it really had to change the dynamic of how Candace interacts with everyone around her, not to mention the fact that Hannah just got her grandchild back after all this time and lost him. That's very sad. Very sad. Yeah, keep the chats coming, guys. Okay, it looks like we're up to like 36 people now. All right. Do you think Candace's father is a black version of Jim? If Candace's father is a have, that would be an interesting dynamic. I mean, let's say her father has a lot of girls just like Jim does. So I think that really is a possibility there. Man. Okay. We need more backstory on David and Benny especially. Yeah, I definitely agree. So again, let's make sure this chat is going to be Hannah and Candace focused, but I can't say it enough. I'm pretty sure I want to say this in every video. All these characters definitely need more backstory. I mean, it's just ridiculous that we have these main cast members, yet we don't know much of anything about her. Well, about him or her. I guess my biggest question is, if Candace's father were to show up, I wonder how Hanna would react to it. Like, does Hanna know where the father is? I mean, will she lash out at him like she did with Tony for good reason? The fact that the father of her daughter just up and left, not giving her a dime for child support or anything like that. And I'm pretty sure Hanna wouldn't take any money whatsoever. So I'm just wondering how that would work. All right, any more questions here? Because I mean, keep in mind, since it's almost 3 a.m., I definitely understand that a lot of people probably aren't watching right now. Okay, do you think Candace called War to go to the motel so she could shoot Hanna? Absolutely not. That's not the case. Remember, Hanna went to go see Warlock to see if she can calm things down because she found out that Warlock was going after Candace. So in her heart, I mean, that's a clear signal that Hanna loves Candace. She put her own life at risk by going down to Warlock's operations to speak with him face to face to see if he would get off Candace's back because, hey, that's my daughter. That's it. And also, I'm thinking about how the fact that Warlock had Candace followed. Remember that Candace was being followed by, Hanna was being followed by one of Warlock's crew members to find out where Candace was hiding out, and that's why Warlock showed up and shot up the place. So it wasn't Candace that orchestrated that. I mean, it was her actions indirectly, but remember, it was Hanna's fault, but she didn't. It's Hanna's fault, but it isn't. Like, she tried to stop everything, but it turns out going down to Warlock's place was exactly the way Warlock found out where they were staying at. Yes, Candace loves her mom deep down, but dislikes that Hanna is living a low-end life economically. It really has to do more with how she was raised. Candace just never got over that. Remember, she got raped by one of Hanna's men, so keep that in mind. Do you think if Candace used her connections to find her son like Hanna suggested, things would be different? Yeah, I do. I do, because I feel like Candace could have used her connections and within 5 or 10 minutes could have found out where her son was. Yep. That was messed up when Candace told her mother she hates her and she can't wait to spill on her grave. Yeah. I really agree. That was just ridiculous. I think that was her lashing out. And as Hanna said, she probably just spoke her own death into existence. Okay. Hey guys, the chats are coming in. That's great. Let me just take a moment to read over these real fast. Yeah, Ward didn't say who called him to go to the motel. I don't know who did it. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong here, but I think the person that called Warlock to tell him the location was the same person that went out to follow Hanna around. So it was just one of his thugs. Candace always has a way of blaming others for her shortcomings. That's absolutely right. I mean, if you look at season 1 to now, she's always blamed other people for her failures, her shortcomings, things not going her way, without analyzing the fact that, hey, I'm the one that's responsible for things going south in my life. It's just ridiculous. You know what's funny, guys? Like, I was literally about to do a closing for this live stream saying that I'll pick it up later today, but then like a bunch of questions came in. So here's a heads up. We're at 15 minutes right now, so I might try to stop it at 30 minutes, depending if a lot of people come on and we have more chats. But here's what I want to do. We're still going to continue this live stream. We'll call this part 1, but then I'll do a part 2 probably tonight around 8 p.m. when there's more people. But we're just going to keep things going for right now. Candace needs to take responsibility for her own actions instead of blaming others. Yep, I mean, literally, that cannot be said enough. It's just amazing how much her life would change if she were to do that. I mean, I'm going to be honest here. I don't like her using her con for evil, but when you think about it, if she worked with Oscar, there's no telling how far she can go in that. I do feel like she would definitely make a lawyer, a very good lawyer as well. But working with somebody like Oscar might be beneficial as well. Do you think Candace will need Hanna at some point? She needs Hanna right now. Hanna and Candace need each other to grieve, but they're not going to do it because their pride won't let them do it. I wouldn't call it Hanna's pride in this situation because it's actually Candace that's pushing everyone away right now. It's not Hanna. It's not Hanna. Do you remember Candace told Erica about how her mother is right? Yeah, she actually said that. She verbally said out loud that my mom told me about it being a cycle and everything I do has a consequence. But here's the problem. Even though Candace remembers that, she's not doing anything to change her life. It's only when she's literally at it. I mean, well, I don't want to preach on here, but might as well. When you think about it, you know how God swoops in at the last second. It's like when you're at rock bottom, like literally you're at your last dollar. Everything in your life is going wrong, but then God will come out at the last minute to save you when you finally realize, oh my God, I'm living my life incorrectly. I'm not doing what God tells me to. It's literally, Candace is literally Jonah in the whale, like a metaphor. She is like Jonah, and every situation she's in is literally that whale gobbling her up. Like when she gets beat down by a man like, Quincy or Warlock, when she lost all her money, that's when she finally realizes, wait, my mom was right. But then after she gets saved, not, like in terms of being a Christian, when she gets saved out of her situation, she just keeps on doing the same thing. Well, you know what? I wouldn't even say that she keeps on doing the same thing. She does the same thing, but on higher stakes. And that's usually why she ends up in such bad situations. Okay, let me see here. Candace getting revenge on people that did her wrong is getting old. Because, okay, first off, that's absolutely correct. We've talked about this a lot when it comes to Veronica. That's why Veronica, even though I feel like she's getting way too much focus, she is the star of the show. But at least whenever she does something, you have to tune in to watch because you don't know what Veronica's going to do next. When it comes to Candace, it's just the same thing over and over again and it gets boring quick. Okay, let me finish your comment here. Hanna told her that she starts everything and everyone ends up being in the crossfire. Again, absolutely correct. I mean, you look at all the consequences that Candace has rarely faced, like she blackmailed $100,000 in a sports car from Jim. Benny got arrested because drugs were in the car. Of course, the situation with betraying Warlock and lying to him. Next thing you know, Warlock is shooting up a hotel room looking for Candace, and her entire family almost got shot. Yes, little Quincy got shot, but literally her mom and Benny and Mitch, her friend, could have been shot as well. Do you think someone will blackmail Candace? I mean, she's on the news reports now for Quincy's murder. Well, I mean, things might change since Jeffrey got arrested, but I don't think blackmail is the right thing to do right now because there's just so much. I feel like blackmail is just a small way of punishing Candace. I feel like something else should be done. It seems like even though she hits rock bottom many times, she just still can't get her life together. I agree. I feel like the best example of this was when the Malones shot her, but they didn't shoot her. Pretty much they shot near her ear. And she literally, she didn't have any shoes on. She walked from the middle of the woods back to her apartment. And then it turned out the apartment was empty. I feel at that point, that's when Candace should have got a wake-up call and say, you know what, I need to get things together. I feel like that was Jim teaching her, like, look, you're playing a big kid's game and you're acting like a little child. That was just ridiculous. That was just ridiculous. She should have just learned from that. But what was the first thing she did the next morning? She got a cab, went to Warlock, and wanted to get revenge. Okay, do you think War raped Candace? Yeah, I mean, she literally got physically taken advantage of. I did feel bad for her, don't get me wrong. But keep in mind that when Jim was locked up in the war room, like tied up to that chair, Candace was literally having sex with him. And Jim was telling her to stop, but Candace was like, oh, you say you don't like it, but the man downstairs is saying otherwise. Now, I don't know if I would consider that rape, but at the same time, it's just like she was taking advantage of Jim. So I don't want to say that she was getting what she deserves in those situations because I did truly feel bad for her. But at the same time, look at everything she's done up to that point and why it was happening. So again, I don't want to ever say that rape is something that somebody deserves. I'm not really saying that. I'm just saying that Candace's actions is linked to her consequences, if that makes any sense. The fencing scene was the worst. Yeah, especially with Mitch watching from the truck. I just felt so bad for Candace. That was just awful. Like, that's why I hated Warlock at that point. Up until that point, I loved Warlock's character. He was a cool guy. He was like Candace's big brother on the streets. It was just sad. Sad. Sadly, the best punishment Candace couldn't have isn't death or jail, but being stuck with Hanna. I don't want this to happen, but I have a little theory in my mind that when Candace tries to get revenge on Hanna, remember she wants to get revenge on everybody. When Candace tries to get revenge on Hanna, do you think Benny's going to be the one to take the bullet? Like, I don't know if it's going to be like an actual gun, but let's just say she planned something for Hanna, but then Benny somehow gets mixed up in it, and then he's the one that takes the hit. And then the next thing you know, it's nothing left but Hanna and Candace. Remember back in season 2, after Benny got out of the hospital? Benny said, look, you know what? Mom, Candace, you're going to sit here and work it out. If I had died in that hospital, then it just would have been the two of you, and you would have just hated each other to the rest of your lives. Do you think Candace will ever love anyone? I think it's possible, but there's just a lot of things she has to work through. I feel like Oscar was the first time that she truly fell in love with somebody, but then it turned out to be a con. And after the situation with Oscar, she has way too many walls up. I mean, honestly, you can't blame her because she was actually vulnerable. She opened up, and then the next thing you know, he took all the money she had. But keep in mind, that was never her money to begin with. And I feel like Charles is trying to open up to her, but at the same time, she's not having it because there's just way too much going on right now. I think by the time Candace really gets her life in the right direction before the end of the series, it'll be too late. I don't think it's ever too late. I feel like redemption is possible for anybody, but at the same time, you have to realize there's just a lot of things that Candace has to answer for. I mean, I don't like the fact that, little Lizzie's dead and, people are getting off on the murder, like, in terms of, like, not facing the consequences. Quincy Maxwell's dead, and Candace is the one to let him die. Remember, she just sat there and watched him die. There's just too many things she's done that she has to answer for. I mean, I know Tyler Perry is a Christian and writes those kind of stories, but in my mind, I can't imagine him finishing the haves and the have-nots and then Candace just instantly being forgiven. Yes, I know that God forgives, but also you have to look at everything she's done up to this point. Even the Apostle Paul, when he was Saul, committed all kinds of murders in the name of the Roman government to get rid of Christians. So even when God changed his life around and he became an apostle, Paul still dealt with a lot of hatred and whatnot from not just his own people that he used to, well, the Romans who tried to kill him because he pretty much became a traitor in their eyes, but also the Christians because they weren't willing to accept Paul initially because he actually hurt them a lot when he was Saul. So when it comes to Candace, if the story wraps up with her, changing her life around and there's no consequence, I really wouldn't like that. Okay. Warlock agreed to do a job for a certain price. Candace didn't have to tell him all her business. Warlock just got ruthless and greedy. Let me just break it down this way. Now, and this is why I feel like I wish I had another person on the stream because I could be wrong about this. Didn't Candace initially say that she got $500K from Jim? Was it like 250,000 or 500K from Jim that she blackmailed? Well, extorted from him. She promised to give Warlock what, $200,000, but then it turns out she gave him $250,000. Now, I don't think it was right for her to lie because Warlock put his entire operation on the line. Warlock put his entire operation on the line. He even told Candace up front in his first scene with Candace, thank you, 400,000. Thank you for clarifying that for me. She said that, well, Warlock said that he's a judge. If he rains down on us, then this entire operation is screwed up. But then Candace said, look, I know how to push his buttons. He won't come after us. She was correct. Now, yes, Warlock did the job that he was assigned for the price, or more money than he agreed to. And gave, yeah, 150. Thank you. That was just ridiculous because here's how I would have done things. Here's how I wanted things to play out. Remember back when Candace was working with Warlock? She kept saying that, Warlock, I want you to go straight. get a suit and a tie. We're going to get you a legit job. I think at first she wanted to have Warlock work in a tow company with Benny. What I wanted to see happen was Candace help Warlock transform from the drug lord and pimp that he is into a legit businessman. Basically use the money that she extorted from Jim for good causes, like buying the house for her, buying the house for Benny, buying the tow company, buying the car for Hanna, and then have Warlock integrate into that lifestyle. Then once things finally settle down, she'll be like, look, I actually got this money from Jim Cryer, and then I changed it around for the better. So that way Warlock is living the path of the straight and narrow, and then everything is all good. But that's the thing that didn't happen. Like, you know, when Warlock found out about the millions, Candace never said anything like that, which is ridiculous because Candace lies through her teeth to everybody. So the fact that she couldn't lie to Warlock was something else, which could say that she did care about Warlock, and then the fact that she hurt his feelings. But even so, when he came over to came over to Candace's house with the gun, remember, she lied to his face again about the amount of money, saying that it was actually like $4 million when it was 7.4. It was stupid. It was stupid. Okay. Yes, if Candace was honest with Wars from the beginning, she wouldn't be in the position that she's in. That's correct. If anything, Hanna and her could have been on better terms. Absolutely right. Let me look through the comments again. Yeah, I like in the restaurant, Candace thought of all the bad things Ward did to her, and worst of all, shot her son. Yeah, that was a great montage in terms of like, look, you're about to die, but this is everything you've done to me, and this is why you're going to be killed off. Yeah, I agree. Okay, we're going to close up in a few minutes, so I'm going to take a couple last minute questions here. Why do you think Erica hates Candace so much? I actually did a video of that on my channel. That's actually a pretty decent video. It's gotten over 60,000 hits. I don't know for sure. It could be something that has to do with their past. And then the fact that Erica is actually, as Candace put it, her bottom, one of her, what was once one of her bottom bitches. So I can just imagine that Erica being disrespected and whatnot by Candace for so long created some sort of a grudge within her. And that's why she hates Candace. That's just my opinion. Not to mention that she may know that Warlock and Candace are really close, so she could be jealous of that as well. I think part of the reason Candace lied to War is because she knew he'd blow the money and not go legit. Yes, I agree, and that's why Candace should have told Warlock about that. That never came up. I think she should have said that the reason I didn't tell you about this money was because I wanted you to change your lifestyle for the better, which would have been good. He probably would have made a lot more money. That's it. Glad you're on. Wish you were louder. Love hearing your voice. Yeah, I appreciate the love, but I'm actually fighting a cold right now, so my voice isn't as loud as it usually is. Loving these chats. Please keep them up. Yeah, if the chats keep coming, I'll keep the live stream going. So, and keep in mind, people, even if the live stream ends in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I will be doing a part 2 to this actual topic once I have another person to talk with. It's the fact that it's 3 a.m. here in Virginia, so I know a lot of people, oh, excuse me, aren't awake right now. Yeah, Tracy said that exactly. He's supposed to be family. He wouldn't have nothing if it wasn't for her. Yeah, I agree. Remember, Hanna took in Warlock when he was a kid, when he didn't have anything. So pretty much that's why he called Hanna mama. Like, I'm sorry, mama, I can't let go of Candace. Hanna was like a man of war. Yeah, hey, thank you for loving the theories, Tracy. And this is why I really wish that Warlock wasn't killed off. I wanted to know more about their history. That there are just so many reasons that Warlock shouldn't have been killed off so soon. I like Candace's black car instead of the red one. I believe it's a Bentley. I agree. That's actually a pretty badass car. I love it myself. All right, guys, I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. If some more chats come in, I'll keep it going. If not, we can shut things down now. But keep in mind that even if I shut down the live stream now, it's only 3 a.m., meaning that later on tonight, I'll definitely be doing another one. Yeah, you're right, India. Hanna seems like a mother to everyone, so it's kind of weird her and Candace have no real bond. That is interesting. But like I said before, I feel like the reason that Hanna and Candace are at odds is because Hanna sees herself in Candace, like her younger self. So having a reminder of your old lifestyle really isn't a good thing. That's probably why there's so much friction between the two. Okay, guys, I'm going to take about 2 or 3 more questions, and then we're going to close out. So I'll give it a couple more minutes here. Will Candace get revenge on Wyatt for hitting Benny, or will she focus on Jim, David, and Hanna? I feel like Candace is going to let the whole thing go with Wyatt, because remember, I think Jeffrey was the one that told her about it. Oh, wait. Wasn't it when Candace came over to Jim's house and it was just Wyatt there and Jeffrey, and that's when he said that, hey, I was the one to hit your brother? So honestly, I don't think she's going to do anything to Wyatt. I feel like her anger is going to be more fueled towards Jim and Catherine. When's the show coming on? January 9th, so we're looking at Tuesday after next. Will David find out who Erica really is this season? If David doesn't find out about Erica this season, I think that's going to be poor writing. I don't think it should be drawn out this long. Remember, Oscar and Candace were like a thing for maybe half a season or so, and then she eventually found out who he really was. Wyatt isn't on Candace's radar. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I feel like Wyatt is just an extension of his parents. Yeah, because his parents were the ones to cover it up, not him. Is Hanna going to have a man? Michael should definitely come back. Remember the grandfather of little Lizzie? Michael should definitely come back. Catherine's not the one. Candace better be careful. I couldn't agree more. Catherine Cryer is not going to this new Catherine Cryer that's on the scene now, she's taking nobody's mess. But Candace said all of them in the short trailer. She said all of them, but that could include Wyatt, maybe. I don't know. But I don't think that Wyatt is her main priority. If she goes after Wyatt, then yeah, I can see that happening. It's like, this for hitting my brother, but I don't think so. Okay, one more question. All right, waiting on one more question to come through the chat, and then we'll wrap things up. She knows Jeffrey really cares for Wyatt, but why would Candace go after Jeffrey? If anything, Jeffrey should be mad at her, but okay, guys, well, we're going to wrap things up for right now. It's been a good stream for about the past 30 minutes. Keep in mind that this was just a, like an apology stream for me not streaming at 8 o'clock last night because I was sick and I took some medicine that knocked me out. So I will definitely be doing another live stream later today. I'll be sure to post it on the YouTube community tab. You'll get a notification of that, and it'll let you know about what time I'll be doing the next live stream. So if there's anybody that wants to join with me, will you be... Oh, hang on. Will you be airing the show on your channel when it comes on? I would appreciate it if you do. I'm sorry about that. Just to kind of give you an insight, I've actually been in contact with Tyler Perry Studios as well as Lionsgate, and it isn't like a contract or anything, but it's an agreement that I can still do my channel talking about all this stuff, but I will not show any episodes. Like, I'm not going to be streaming any episodes whatsoever. The only thing I might quote unquote stream will be the trailers for the episodes themselves, but I will not under any circumstances be uploading full episodes to my channel, because there's just so much mess to deal with like copyright, and then my channel might get taken down. Oh, thank you. Feel better. Yeah. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take some more medicine and go back to sleep. And I'm glad my voice isn't gone. Thank the Lord, because YouTube is what I do full time. So my voice is shot. Money isn't going to come in. So with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Another live stream is on the way later today, and I'll talk to you later.